Welcome to Chinese History and Mythology. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Investiture of the Gods. Let's pick up where we left off. Last time, we talked about how Jiang Ziya set up a special plan to deal with the brothers Gao Ming and Gao Zhu. He had Li Jing, Lei Jinzi, Nei Jie, and Yang Ren stand in 4 directions of an trigram formation and sprinkle black dog's blood and black rooster's blood on peachwood stakes. He also told Wei Hu to prepare a bottle of filthy stuff mixed with chicken blood, dog blood, urine, and feces, so that once they lured the brothers into the formation, they could press down their demon energy in one move. The formation was set up tight and dense, with talismans placed according to the 9 palaces and 8 trigrams. But Gao Ming and Gao Zhu had already heard everything clearly. They were not scared at all. As soon as they ran into the formation, they just gave their bodies a light shake and turned into 2 streaks of blue light, slipping away. Jiang Ziya was furious. He thought there must be a traitor in the camp. Yang Jian, standing nearby, said these 2 did not look like normal people at all. They were clearly demons from the mountains. He added that he needed to go somewhere to investigate, but for the moment he could not tell anyone where he was going. Gao Ming and Gao Zhu secretly listened to the whole thing from a distance. They thought no one could ever find out who they really were, so the brothers only laughed louder and louder. They did not take the Zhou army seriously at all. What they did not know was this: their title 7 sages of Mei Mountain had long been recorded in Yang Jian's sect as a great future disaster that must be guarded against. Wu Wenhua, after being beaten, sore, and aching all over by Dragonbeard Tiger, ran east for 20 li. He found a cliff, sat down, rubbed his legs and his waist, and gasped from the pain. He rested by the cliff for 1 full hour before slowly walking back to the Shan camp. When Yuan Hong saw him return, he was very displeased. He scolded him, "Your first day on the battlefield and you lose this badly. How could you be so careless?" Wu Wenhua lowered his head and said, "Marshal, don't worry. Tonight I will raid the Zhou camp. I will kill them all. First, I will repay the court and the marshal. Second, I will vent my anger." Seeing how confident he was, Yuan Hong said, "Good. You attack the camp. I will support you from behind." That night, there was no sign at all in the sky. Jiang Ziya never imagined Wu Wenhua would launch a raid that very night. Near the second watch, cannon blasts suddenly sounded outside the Zhou camp, followed at once by shouts of killing all across the camp. Wu Wenhua smashed open the main gate of the Zhou camp with his forehead, then charged through 7 layers of deerhorn barriers. He knocked down every wooden sign and fence around him. Gripping his giant battering log in both hands, he swept it left and right. The Zhou soldiers could not withstand his strength at all. Wherever he smashed through, bodies fell everywhere and blood flowed like rivers. That night, all 600,000 Zhou soldiers were thrown into chaos inside the camp. In the darkness, men cried out for their brothers and called for their parents. Miserable screams rose everywhere. To make it worse, Yuan Hong also arrived. He released a thick wave of black demon energy that covered the entire Zhou camp, throwing the soldiers into deeper panic. Officers of all ranks were shocked awake and could not organize any proper defense. Hearing the camp was under attack, Jiang Ziya quickly mounted his Fernot-like beasts. He raised his apricot yellow banner and used magic to protect his own body. But outside the range of the flag, the sounds of killing were non-stop, and the screams would not stop. His heart was burning with anxiety, yet there was nothing he could do. Wu Wenhua's eyes burned like 2 huge red lamps. He held the battering log in one hand and kept sweeping it around as if he were cutting down grass. For a moment, Jiang Ziya's disciples could not react in time. They could not stop him at all. Wu Wenhua turned the whole area around Mengjin into rivers of blood. Countless brave Zhou warriors died that night. The soldiers Yuan Hong had brought from King Zhou of Shang's army also went everywhere, finishing off the wounded and killing even more people. In the end, 4 wise ministers barely managed to protect Wu King Jifa and flee. Jiang Ziya also escaped in a sorry state. His 35 disciples each used one of 5 escape magics to save their lives. The common soldiers, who had no magic and no speed, could only accept their fate and die. Wu Wenhua killed all the way into the rear of the camp, charging straight toward the Zhou army's grain stores. The grain stores were under Yang Jian's guard. When Yang Jian suddenly heard the shouts of killing outside, he knew Marshal Jiang had suffered a great defeat. He quickly mounted his horse and rushed over. When he saw Wu Wenhua coming straight at him, Yang Jian understood he could not leave the grain stores unattended. The consequences would be unthinkable. He jumped off his horse at once, grabbed a single stalk of straw, and placed it in his palm. He chanted a spell over it, then blew gently on it and shouted, "Change." The straw turned into a giant warrior. This giant's head touched the sky, and his feet stepped on the earth. His head was as big as a city gate. His eyes were as large as water tanks. His nostrils were like buckets. His teeth were like carrying poles, and his beard looked like bamboo shoots. Golden light shone from his mouth as he shouted at Wu Wenhua, "Come fight me." His voice sounded like deep thunder from far away. Wu Wenhua was in the middle of his killing frenzy when he suddenly saw a warrior many times bigger than himself standing not far ahead. He was so scared his voice changed on the spot. "Heavens, my father is here." Without another word, he turned and ran, dragging the battering log behind him and not daring to look back. Yang Jian himself also changed into a giant and chased after Wu Wenhua. As he ran, he happened to run right into Yuan Hong. Yuan Hong blocked Yang Jian's way. Yang Jian at once called his howling heaven hound to attack. Yuan Hong turned into a streak of white light and slipped out of the hound's attack. The next day, the lords on both sides saw how badly the Zhou camp had been raided the night before and rushed over to help. But the losses from the night battle were too heavy. They fought until daylight before both sides finally pulled back their troops. Zhang Ziaga gathered his disciples, found Wu King Jifa, and counted the remaining soldiers. He found that more than 200,000 soldiers had died, and 34 generals were gone. Dragonbeard Tiger had also been killed by Wu Wenhua. Soldiers even saw Dragonbeard Tiger's head hanging from Wu Wenhua's battering log. When Zhang Ziagi heard that Dragonbeard Tiger had died in battle, he was deeply grieved. All the lords entered the main tent to comfort Wu King Jifa. Yang Jiang came in and said that he had scared Wu Wenhua away with transformation the previous night. Zhang Ziaya let out a long sigh. "I misjudged a man and caused such a great disaster for everyone. It is all fate." At this time, Yuan Hong led his troops back to the Shang camp and immediately sent messengers to Chaoge city with news of victory. When the court officials heard about this great win, they all said, "Since the war against Ziki started, we have never had such a huge victory." King Zhou of Shang was overjoyed. He went on drinking and playing every day and cared even less about the Zhou army. A few days later, Yang Jian came to see Jiang Ziaya and said, "If we want to defeat Yuan Hong, we must get rid of Wu Wenhua first." Jiang Ziaya nodded. "We will need a special plan to make Wu Wenhua fall into our trap." Yang Jian accepted the order and began scouting the terrain around Mingjian. He walked for 60 li and reached a place called Panlong Ridge. He saw the mountain range there was shaped like a coiled dragon, with a wide open path in the middle and exits at both ends. Right away, he knew this was a perfect place for an ambush. Yang Jian hurried back to camp to report. When Jiang Ziaya heard, he was delighted. He leaned close and listened to Yang Jian whisper his plan in his ear and nodded again and again. Zhang Ziaya then ordered Wu Ji and then Gongxi, "Take 2,000 soldiers to Panlong Ridge. Bury firewood, gunpowder, bamboo tubes, and fire arrows. Pile up things that can catch fire all over the mountain, top and bottom." The two accepted the order and left. On the other side, Wu Wenhua received his rewards for the victory. King Zhou of Shang had sent him robes, belts, gold and silver, wine, and meat. Yuan Hong and Wu Wenhua accepted the rewards together and sent the messenger back. Yuan Hong said, "The Heavenly Sun treats us so generously. General Wu, we must work even harder to repay the nation and make our names known across the world." Wu Wenhua said, "Marshal, don't worry. Tomorrow I will kill Jiang Sheng." That night, Yuan Hong held a feast to celebrate. While they were drinking, a scout rushed in and reported, "Jiang Ziaya and Wu King Jifa are at the camp gate, scouting our formations." Yuan Hong immediately said to Wu Wenhua, "Go around behind them and bring the two of them back alive. Just stride over there. It will be as easy as reaching into a bag." Wu Wenhua accepted the order and at once left through the right gate of the camp, dragging his battering log and running hard. As he ran, he shouted, "Jiang Shang, don't run. Come down and die so I don't have to work so hard." Hearing this from inside the camp, Yuan Hong slapped his forehead. I told him to go quietly. With all that yelling, who wouldn't run first? Sure enough, when Jiang Ziya and Wu Qingjifa heard Wu Wenhua's roar, they immediately turned their horses and fled. Wu Wenhua chased them for more than an hour, over 50 or 60 li. He kept chasing on foot while Jiang Ziya and Wu Qingjifa were on horseback. His strength slowly gave out. At last he stopped, braced his hands on his knees, and panted hard. Jiang Ziya turned and shouted, "Wu Wenhua, do you dare fight me for 3 rounds?" Wu Wenhua laughed angrily when he heard that. "You old man, what wouldn't I dare?" He started chasing again. Jiang Ziya and Wu Qingjifa also kept fleeing. They ran and ran, leading Wu Wenhua straight toward Panlong Ridge. Wu Wenhua rushed into the valley and could no longer see Jiang Ziya or Wu Qingjifa. He stood at the mouth of the valley and looked around. Just as he was about to retreat, cannons boomed from both sides. Logs and boulders rolled down from the mountains and sealed the valley entrance. Then fire arrows, fire cannons, and burning bamboo tubes rained down, and all the piled-up brushwood caught fire at once. Flames spread in every direction, and the smoke grew thicker and thicker. Very soon, the whole valley turned into a gigantic furnace. Wu Wenhua was trapped right in the middle, surrounded by fire. He tried to rely on his long strides to dash out, but as soon as he ran forward a few steps, all the buried landmines exploded at once. Blasts shot up from below and threw him to the ground. A man who had stood like a mountain, touching the sky and stepping on the earth, was blown apart in an instant. His flesh and blood were torn to pieces, and in the end he was burned to ashes. After Wu Wenhua's death, Yang Jian, Wu Jian, Nungong, she returned to the Zhou camp at once to report to Jiang Ziya. Jiang Ziya was very pleased. He then discussed with Yang Jian, "Yuan Hong is still alive. What should we do?" Yang Jian said, "He is a white ape spirit who trained on Maid Mountain. His magic is deep. There is no need to rush. We can take our time and think." Jiang Ziya nodded. "All right, we still have time. The East Earl has not arrived yet, and the lords are not all gathered. We cannot march forward for now. I wonder how things are going with Jinza and Muza over there." After Wu Wenhua died, Yuan Hong felt terrible. He sat alone in the main command tent, his face dark and gloomy. No one dared to go near him. Suddenly, a soldier came in to report, "Marshal, there is a Taoist monk at the camp gate asking to see you." Yuan Hong was already in a foul mood, but when he heard someone had come to visit, he still gave the order, "Let him in." After a while, a Taoist monk walked into the tent. He bowed deeply to Yuan Hong and said, "Marshal, this poor Taoist pays his respects." Yuan Hong asked, "Jewist, where have you come from? Why are you here?" The monk answered, "I also live on May Mountain, not far from where you live, Marshal. My surname is Zhou. My given name is Zhijin. I heard you are here fighting for King Zhou of Sheng, so I came especially to help. We are neighbors, after all. I am here to lend you a hand." Yuan Hong was overjoyed and immediately invited him to sit in the honored seat. Zhu Zhijin refused a few times before finally sitting down. The staff officers Yin Pobi and Lei Kai, hearing he was from May Mountain, both shook their heads in secret. Another one, they thought. A fellow monster like Cheng Hao and Wu Long, but Yuan Hong did not care at all. He ordered a feast to be set to welcome Zhu Zizhan. Early the next morning, Zhu Zizhan took some followers and the treasured sword and went to the gate of the Zhou camp. He shouted loudly, calling Jiang Ziya out to talk. The officers in charge of military affairs hurried back to report. When Jiang Ziya heard a Taoist had come, he immediately ordered the southern and northern lords to bring their troops out and form ranks at the camp gate. He himself led his disciples out and lined up to face the enemy. They looked across and saw, under the great banner of the Shang camp, a Taoist monk standing there. His face was as black as if it had been painted. His beard was neatly trimmed. His lips stuck out. His nose was long. His ears were wide. His thick eyebrows looked like brooms. He wore a black Taoist robe and looked very strange. Jiang Ziya asked, "Who are you?" The monk answered, "I am a key-refining Taoist from May Mountain. My name is Zhu Zizhan." Jiang Ziya said. Instead of staying quietly on Mei Mountain, you came all the way here just to die. Zhou Zizian laughed loudly. Jiang Sheng, you old man who only knows how to fish, your mouth is really rude. The fact you are still alive today is already good luck. Shang has been passed down for so many generations. How many times has Ziki benefited from the nation's kindness? And now you rebel. You people's hearts are too greedy. Why not just go back, pull back your army, spare your soldiers all this suffering, and let everyone go home to live in peace? Jiang Ziya sneered. Ignorant creature, you are about to die and still dare talk nonsense here. With that, the two of them started fighting. Just then, from the camp of the Southern Marquise, a deputy general named Yu Zhang rushed out. He never believed in magic. He only used a single spiked wolf-tooth club. As he charged forward on horseback, he shouted, "Let me have this credit." Zhang Ziya had traded only a few blows with Zhu Zizhen when he saw someone rushing up from the left watchtower path. It was Yu Zhang. Zhang Ziya pulled his formation aside and let Yu Zhang go in. Yu Zhang spurred his horse forward and fought Zhu Zizhen. They traded not even 20 rounds. Suddenly, Zhu Zizhen turned and ran. Yu Zhang chased him at once. Zhang Ziya immediately ordered, "Beat the drums! Cheer for General Yu!" Yu Zhang had chased less than one li when a cold wind suddenly rose under Zhu Zizhen's feet. Zhu Zizhen stopped, turned around, and spat out a cloud of black smoke that wrapped completely around his body. When the black smoke cleared, he had turned into a huge wild boar, black from head to toe. He opened his bloody mouth and took one snap. With a single bite, he bit off half of Yagong's body. Then the wild boar changed back into human form, grabbed the wolf-tooth club, and ran back toward the Shang lines, shouting, "Jiang Shang, stop hiding in the back." Yang Jiang was nearby. He raised Yun Zhongzu's monster-revealing mirror and shone it at him. He saw that Zhu Zizhen's true form was a giant pig, so he spurred his horse forward to cut him off. They traded only a few blows before Zhu Zizhen showed his true form again and swallowed Yang Jian whole in a single gulp. Seeing what happened to Yang Jiang, Jiang Ziya went pale with shock. He quickly ordered the troops to retreat back into camp. Zhu Zizhen returned victorious to the Shang camp. When Yuan Heng heard he had won, he was very pleased and held another feast for him. As they were drinking, a scout suddenly rushed in to report, "Marshal, there is a fine warrior at the camp gate asking to see you." Yuan Heng immediately ordered, "Invite him in." After a while, a man entered. His skin was very white, but his beard was thin and long. 2 horns grew from his head. He wore a hair-binding crown on top. He walked up to the command platform and bowed. Yuan Heng asked, "Where does this fine warrior come from?" The man said, "My surname is Yang. My given name is Shan. I live on Mei Mountain." Yuan Heng nodded and invited him to sit. In fact, they had already known each other for a long time. They were just pretending to be strangers. As they drank, Yang Xiang got drunk, and Zhu Zizhen also got drunk. The two of them started bragging and praising their own skills, arguing loudly over who was stronger. Yin Pobai watched them, then glanced at Lei Kai. The two exchanged a look, and both understood. 2 more monsters, they thought. They drank until the second watch of the night, when Zhu Zizhen's face suddenly changed. He heard a voice speaking from inside his own belly. "Daoist, Zhu, hello? Do you know who I am?" Zhu Zizhen was so scared his whole body turned cold. "Who are you? Where are you talking from?" Yang Xian saw this and asked, "Who are you talking to?" Zhu Zizhen ignored him completely. The voice in his belly spoke again. "I am Yang Jian, disciple of Jade Cauldron, Genrin of Golden Glow Cave on Jade Spring Mountain. I am right here in your stomach. You swallowed me today in broad daylight. Have you forgotten?" Zhu Zizhen shook with fear. "You? What do you want?" Yang Jian said coldly, "Nothing much. I just want to touch your heart and liver." He stretched out a hand and stabbed inside Zhu Zizhen's belly. The pain was so great that Zhu Zizhen jumped straight up and screamed, "It hurts! It hurts! Great Immortal, spare me! I was wrong. I should not have harmed people." Yang Jian asked, "Do you want to live or die?" Zhu Zizhen cried, "Live." "Live? Who wants to die? I have cultivated on Mei Mountain for so many years, suffered so much just to gain this human form. "Great Immortal, please take pity on me." Yang Jian said, "If you want to live, then change back to your true form. Walk to the gate of the Zhou camp and kneel to beg for mercy. I will spare your life. If you do not obey, I will dig out your heart and lungs right now." Zhu Zizhen had no choice. He turned back into a giant wild boar. Shaking his big black rear, he staggered out of the camp. Yuan Hong and Yang Xian were so anxious they jumped to their feet, but there was nothing they could do. They could only follow behind, helpless and worried. They watched with their own eyes as the big wild boar ran all the way to the Zhou camp gate and slowly knelt down. At that moment, Nangongshi was on patrol. He saw a huge black pig kneeling at the camp gate and was shocked. Where did this giant boar come from? Then, Yang Jian's voice came from inside the pig's belly. "General, please report to Marshal Jiang. This is the pig demon from Mei Mountain. I crawled into its stomach and forced it to come here. Please ask the marshal to deal with it." Nangongshi understood at once and hurried into the tent to call Jiang Ziya. Jiang Ziya had just fallen asleep. When he was woken, he was still groggy. He rubbed his eyes and listened to Nangongshi's report. As soon as he heard Yang Jian had captured the pig demon, he woke up completely and rushed to the camp gate. Looking at the kneeling black pig, Jiang Ziya said, "Beast, did I not tell you long ago? You are always going to die in the end." The pig demon shook its head wildly, then nodded, then shook its head again. Its pig eyes were full of tears. It snorted and whimpered, clearly begging for mercy. Yang Jian spoke from inside its belly, "Marshal, please have it executed at once, so it will not cause any more trouble." Jiang Ziya nodded. "Nangongshi, carry out the sentence." Hearing this, Zhu Zizhen was scared nearly to death. He wanted to change back into human form and run, but it was already too late. Nangongshi swung his blade in one stroke. The pig's head fell to the ground. Its two large eyes stared wide open, unwilling to close even in death. Riding the flash of blood, Yang Jian leapt out from the pig's belly and returned to human form. When the lords saw this, they were all filled with respect. Jiang Ziya ordered, "Hang the pig demon's head at the camp gate so all the soldiers can see it clearly." When Yuan Hong heard the report that Zhu Zizhen had been killed, his expression grew even darker. He sighed and said to Yang Xian, "Sigh, we brothers have been pushed to this point. Even our true forms were forced out in front of everyone. After this, what face do we have left? We've cultivated on Mei Mountain for so many generations. Everything we learned, everything passed down our magic, our reputation, now it's all useless. Jiang Shang and I are now enemies who cannot share the same sky. From today on, only one of us can live." Yang Xian was furious too. He said, "Zhu Zizhen died only because he fell into Yang Juan's trick. If we don't avenge him, I would rather die than keep living like this." The two were still venting in the command tent when the gate officer came in to report. "Marshal, there is an envoy at the gate bringing a worthy warrior who asks to see you." Yuan Hong quickly went out to greet them. He bowed to the envoy first. The envoy presented a general, saying this man claimed to be surnamed Dai, named Li, also someone from Mei Mountain. Yin Po Bai and the others watched Dai Li's appearance from the side and thought to themselves, "Another monster from Mei Mountain." The next day, Yuan Hong and Dai Li went out together to arrange their formation. Jiang Ziya also led the lords of the Zhou side out to face them. Jiang Ziya rode his four-knot-like beast and said to Yuan Hong, "Yuan Hong, you really don't understand the situation. Look at all the lords gathered here. You think you and your handful of people can stand against the whole world?" Yuan Hong answered, "Why not? At worst, I die. I came today to avenge Zhu Zizhen." Yang Xian shouted loudly from the side, "No need for more nonsense." As he yelled, he urged his horse forward with his halberd raised and charged straight in. Yang Jian stood beneath the central banner. He used his monster-revealing mirror and at once saw Yang Xian's true form of goat spirit. He put away the mirror, rode forward with his three-point double-edged blade, and said nothing more before engaging Yang Xian. The two battled while circling their horses, blades clashing again and again. After 20 or 30 rounds, Yang Xian started to panic. He pulled his horse around and fled. Yang Jian chased after him. Suddenly, Yang Xian spat out a streak of white light that wrapped around both him and his horse. He showed his true form, large horned goat. He lowered his head and charged at Yang Jian with his horns. Seeing the goat demon appear, Yang Jian instantly transformed as well, turning into a fierce tiger covered in stripes. Yang Xian saw the tiger appear and fear overwhelmed him. He tried to escape, but before he ran far, Yang Jian cut him cleanly in two with a single stroke. Yang Jian jumped off his horse, cut off the goat head, and shouted loudly, "Marshal, I have slain another Mei Mountain demon for the army." On the other side, Dai Li was fighting fiercely with Na Jia. Dai Li used two large sabers. Nije rode his wind and fire wheels and wielded his fire golden spear. The two of them clashed back and forth in a tight fight. Yang Jian used the monstery Vili mirror again and clearly saw Dai Li's true form, a dog spirit. Suddenly, Dai Li opened his mouth and spat out a red pearl the size of a bowl, glowing brightly as it shot toward Naja's head. Naja quickly dodged to the side. Yang Jian rode over to help, and together he and Naja surrounded Dai Li. After more than 20 rounds, Dai Li knew he could not win. He turned his horse and tried to flee. Yang Jian chased after him. Dai Li turned back and spat another red pearl. The pearl glowed like fire as it flew toward Yang Jian. Yang Jian summoned his howling heaven hound. The hound shot forward like wind, evaded the pearl in midair, and bit at Dai Li. Dai Li couldn't dodge in time and was caught. Dog and dog spirit tangled and fought in the air. Yang Jian seized the chance, rushed forward, and cut Dai Li down with one blow. That day, Yang Jian felt very satisfied. He returned to camp and reported his victory. Zhang Ziya sat in the central tent, heard that Yang Jiang had slain 2 demons in one day, and was overjoyed. He held a feast right there to celebrate Yang Jian. Back in the Shang camp, Yuan Hong returned to the command tent. When he heard that Dai Li had also been killed, he felt even more depressed. The generals looked at each other and whispered softly. Everyone felt hopeless and heavy-hearted. At that moment, the gate officer came again to report. "Marshal, there is a great general at the gate asking to see you." Yuan Hong forced himself to straighten up and said, "Bring him in." Soon, a man entered. 16 feet tall, with 2 horns growing from his head. His mouth curled outward, his ears were sharp, and he wore golden armor and a red robe. On his head was a crown made of violet gold. He looked extremely imposing. He bowed roughly to Yuan Hong. Yuan Hong asked, "General, what is your name? Where do you come from?" The man answered, "My name is Jin Dashing. I am someone who cultivated all Mei Mountain." Hearing he was also from Mei Mountain, Yuan Hong did not doubt him and again held a feast. The next day, Jin Dasheng rode a strange beast with a single horn and carried a 3-pointed blade. He came to the Zhou camp to challenge. This time, Zhen Lun accepted the fight. Zheng Lun rode his golden-eyed beast and held his demon subduing staff as he rode out of the gate. He saw the enemy general was huge and strange-looking and felt a little shaken inside. The 2 warriors exchanged names, shouted at each other for a while, then began to fight for real. After 10 or so rounds, Jin Dasheng suddenly opened his mouth and spat out a hard object the size of a bowl, glowing red and yellow, flying incredibly fast. Dunzin Lun was unprepared. The object struck him full in the face, splitting his skin, and knocked him from his mount. Jin Dasheng charged up and cut him in 2 at the waist. After killing Zhang Lun, Jin Dasheng beat the drums and returned to camp to report. When Jiang Ziya heard Zhang Lun had died in battle, he was very saddened. He said, "Zhang Lun has followed me all this way. He earned many merits. Ever since Suhu surrendered to Ziki, Zhang Lun has been responsible for guarding the grain supply. During this western campaign, he worked tirelessly for the army every single day. Who would have thought he would die today at the hands of a newly arrived demon with no name at all?" The next morning, Jiang Ziya asked in the main tent, "Who is willing to avenge Zhang Lun?" Yang Yan immediately stepped forward and asked to fight. He went to the Shan camp and loudly called Jin Dasheng out. Jin Dasheng did not back down. The 2 exchanged names again and traded fierce words. Both held 3-pointed blades. They urged their horses forward and fought, blade against blade, for more than 30 rounds. Then Jin Dasheng opened his mouth again and spat out that red and yellow shining object, flying extremely fast. Yang Jian sensed danger at once. He transformed into a streak of golden light and flashed aside, avoiding the strike. Seeing he had missed, Jin Dasheng spurred his mount and chased. Yang Jian retreated while pulling out the monster-revealing mirror. He shone it at Jin Dasheng and saw clearly the truth. His real form was a water buffalo, and the glowing object he spit out was likely in Yuang, a precious bezoar, formed in a buffalo's stomach. Yang Jian was just about to transform and finish this buffalo demon when suddenly a fragrant wind drifted in. The air filled with a faint, clear scent. Colorful clouds rose from the ground, and 5 colored mists drifted through the sky. Within the clouds were 2 yellow banners swaying gently in the wind. Between them stood a goddess, dignified and radiant. Beneath her feet perched a large blue bird King Luan. 3 or 4 pairs of young maidens followed at her sides. As they floated down from the clouds, they called loudly, "Yang Jian, come pay respects to the lady." Yang Jian heard and immediately stopped his weapon. He stepped forward with both hands clasped and bowed deeply. "Disciple Yang Jian greets the lady." The goddess said, "Yang Jian, I am not just any goddess. I am Nua. I have come today to help you subdue the buffalo demon of May Mountain. Stand aside now. Do not interfere." Yang Jian did not dare disobey. He stepped aside to watch. Nua said to the maiden beside her, "Take this treasure and capture that sinful buffalo." The maiden, called King Yun, received the treasure with both hands. Just then, Jin Dasheng rode forward on a dark cloud, his blade in hand. King Yun stepped in front of him and shouted sharply, "Wicked creature! The lady herself is here. You must show respect. By her command, I have come today to capture you." But Jin Dasheng didn't take her seriously at all. He lifted his 3-pointed blade and slashed straight at her. King Yun lifted the demon-binding cord. In an instant, countless yellow-robed warriors appeared in the sky, each as tall as a small mountain. The yellow-turban warriors used the demon-binding cord to loop through Jin Dasheng's nose like a ring for a cow. Then they struck his back with giant copper hammers, again and again. With the force of the magic, a loud thunderclap boomed across the sky. Jin Dasheng showed his true form, huge water buffalo, and was locked in place. Yang Jian was completely convinced. He knelt and said, "The lady's magic is boundless. Your disciple Yang Jian wishes the lady eternal life and eternal honor," Nua said. "Yang Jian, take this buffalo demon back to the Zhou camp and hand him over to Jiang Ziaya. I will also help you capture the white ape demon." Then Nua and her attendants rose on colorful clouds and slowly disappeared into the sky. Yang Jian led the water buffalo-shaped Jin Dasheng back to camp. Jiang Ziaya had just heard Yang Jian had vanished in golden light and was still wondering what had happened. Seeing Yang Jian return with a buffalo, he listened to the entire account of how Nua had subdued the demon, and he was overjoyed. Jiang Ziaya immediately ordered, "Call all the lords to the camp gate. Let everyone watch how I deal with this buffalo demon." Soon, the lords gathered at the gate. Nangongshi stepped forward with his blade. With one stroke, he cut off the buffalo's head. 80,000 soldiers along the Menjian River cheered together. The roar was so loud it seemed to shake the land and mountains. Jiang Ziya ordered, "Hang this buffalo head on the flagpole for the whole army to see." Tonight, everyone will drink beef soup. The hundreds of thousands of soldiers by the Menjian River cheered again. Their voices spread far into the distance, and even the surface of the Yellow River rippled from the sound. Jiang Ziya returned to his own camp and sat down in the central command tent. He asked Yang Jian, "Up to now, how many of the May Mountain monsters have we killed?" Yang Jian counted on his fingers and said, "Master Uncle, we have already killed 6 of them." Jiang Ziya nodded. "Good. Notify all the lords at once. Tonight we are going to raid the Shangmeng camp." Then he called Yang Jian closer and said, "Tonight, you will go alone to strike at Yuanhong. Capture that white ape demon." Yang Jian replied, "I will take Neizhao with me, and with Nua's help, we will surely succeed." Over on Yuanhong's side, he had already heard that all his May Mountain brothers had been killed, and only he was left. He was deeply worried. He could not move forward, and he could not retreat. He called in his staff officers Yin Pobai and Lei Kai. The 3 of them sat in the command tent and discussed the situation, but no matter how they thought about it, they could not come up with a good plan. Yuanhong had no choice. He ordered the central officers to carry a memorial to Zhaogai City and asked King Zhou of Shang to send reinforcements as soon as possible. By the time the second watch of the night came, Yuan Hong was still sitting in the main camp, drowning in worry. Suddenly, he heard a cannon blast. The Zhou army had used the darkness to launch a full attack. The southern Marquis Yi Shun led 200 lords in a furious assault at the front. The northern Marquis, Chang Ying Luan, charged into the left wing. Li Jing, Wei Hu, and Lei Jinzi attacked the right wing. Yang Jian and Najia went straight through the main gate toward the central camp. Yuan Hong hurriedly leapt onto his horse, iron staff in hand, and rushed out of the tent. Right then, he ran straight into Yang Jian. Neither of them spoke a word. They started fighting at once. On the Zhou side, the lords had already forced their way into the Shang camp. Bodies lay everywhere, blood covered the ground, and the screams were terrible. When Yuan Hong saw the camp was about to fall, he showed his true form and flew into the air. From above, he swung his staff down at Yang Jian and hit him square on the head. Sparks flew from Yang Jian's skull. Yang Jian knew 72 transformations. He instantly turned himself into a streak of golden light, flew into the air, and struck back from above with his blade. Yuan Hong also knew 72 transformations. He turned his body into a mass of white mist to protect himself. Dot in the air, Yang Jian shouted, "Monkey from May Mountain. Still playing tricks with magic. Today, when I catch you, I'll peel off your skin, pull out your tendons, and dig out your brain." Yuan Hong shouted back, "Yang Jian, what grudge do I have with you? Why'd you kill all my May Mountain brothers? Today, I'll kill you and avenge them." The two of them fought in mid-air, changing again and again, into mountains, into water, into rocks, into birds, into beasts. They used every bit of their power. Neither could overpower the other. Yuan Hong thought to himself, "The camp is broken. We cannot hold it. I cannot keep fighting here. Better to lure him back to May Mountain and find a way to trap him there." Once he had made up his mind, he turned and fled in the direction of May Mountain. The Zhou lords continued slaughtering the remaining Shang soldiers until dawn. Only when Jiang Ziya struck the gong to signal retreat did the armies finally pull back to their own camps. On this side, Yang Jian saw Yuan Hong transform into a streak of auspicious light and fly toward May Mountain. He jumped down from his horse and used earth escape magic to chase after him underground. As Yuan Hong ran, he suddenly turned himself into a strange rock and stood still by the roadside. When Yang Jian arrived and could not see Yuan Hong, he released his divine light to check carefully. He saw at once that the strange rock was actually Yuan Hong. So Yang Jian turned himself into a stonemason, hammer and chisel in hand, and walked up to carve him. Seeing the danger, Yuan Hong immediately changed into a clear wind and fled forward again. The two of them chased and paused, changed shape and changed back, again and again. Near May Mountain, Yuan Hong suddenly disappeared. Yang Jian climbed up onto May Mountain and searched in all directions. All at once, he heard a noise below a cliff. Thousands of little monkeys burst out, sticks and clubs in their hands. They surrounded Yang Jian and beat at him from all sides. Seeing there were too many monkeys, Yang Jian became a streak of golden light and flew away. He went around the mountain slope and suddenly heard fairy music drifting on the wind. Clouds of many colors filled the sky. Nua appeared in mid-air. Yang Jian quickly knelt and bowed his head. "Lady has arrived. Your disciple, Yang Jian, has limited skill. I could not capture the monkey demon today. Please forgive me," Nua said. "I know that monkey is no weaker than you. You are not his match. But that is all right. I will give you a treasure. Use it to subdue him." Yang Jian bowed in thanks and received the treasure. Nua then departed. Yang Jian opened the treasure and was delighted. Nua had given him the Mountain Andriver spirit map. He hung the Mountain Andriver spirit map on a big tree, then went back up the mountain to look for Yuan Hong. When Yuan Hong saw Yang Jian coming again, he shouted, "Yang Jian, you came to die again. I was just looking for you." Yang Jian laughed. "We'll see who dies." They fought for a while. Then Yang Jian suddenly turned and ran. Yuan Hong chased after him. Yang Jian ran onto a tall mountain that had formed from the Mountain and River Spirit map, and Yuan Hong charged up the slope behind him. Yuan Hong did not know this mountain was not real at all. It was part of the picture. Yang Jian made a light jump and slipped out of the map, but Yuan Hong was trapped inside. Inside the map, Whatever Yuan Hong thought of would appear. If he wanted mountains, mountains appeared. If he wanted water, water appeared. If he wanted to walk somewhere, a path opened and he could walk there. He wandered around inside, happier and happier, and slowly forgot he was in the middle of a war. After eating and playing his fill, he showed his true form as a white ape. Inside the map, he saw a peach tree with a branch of red immortal peaches hanging from it, giving off a sweet fragrance. The white ape could not resist. He leapt up into the tree, plucked one, and ate it. Sweet juice ran all over his hands. After he had eaten his fill, he leaned against the tree to rest. His stomach swelled until it was tight and round. Just then, he saw Yang Jian walking toward him from a distance. The white ape tried to jump up and run, but his stomach was too heavy. No matter how he tried, he could not stand up. He felt as if his belly were stuffed full of rocks. Yang Jian walked up and grabbed the white ape by the head. He tied him up with the demon binding cord. Then he took down the mountain and river spirit map and put it back in his robe. He bowed toward the south to thank Nua and carried the white ape by the head back to the Zhou camp. When Jiang Ziya saw that he had captured the white ape, he was overjoyed and said, "Quickly, execute this monster." The generals brought the white ape to the camp gate. Yang Jian raised his blade and cut off the ape's head, but no blood came from the ape's neck. Instead, a puff of white vapor rose up, and a white lotus grew out of the neck. The lotus opened and closed, and another monkey head grew out at once. Yang Jian chopped again. Another head grew. He cut several times, and it was always the same. Jiang Ziya sighed. This monkey has drunk in the spirit of heaven and earth and absorbed the essence of sun and moon. Its transformations are many. But this still cannot stop me. He ordered an incense table to be set up and placed the red gourd on it. Jiang Ziya opened the gourd. A white thread of light rose from inside. 3 Zhanghai. Jiang Ziya bowed and said, "Treasure, show yourself." At the top of the white light, a small object appeared, a bit over 7 inches long. It had eyebrows and eyes. 2 white beams of light shot from its eyes and locked onto the white ape's body. Jiang Ziya bowed again. "Treasure, turn." The magic weapon turned twice in the air. The white ape's head fell off at once. This time, blood gushed from the neck, and no lotus or new head grew out again. The disciples watching nearby were shocked. "Marshal, what treasure is that?" Jiang Ziya said, "This was given to me by Lu Yadoist. The weapon is forged from rare iron. It has absorbed the essence of sun and moon and stolen the finest energy of heaven and earth. It can overturn the 5 elements. When refined, it condenses like yellow sprouts and white snow into this treasure, named the Flying Dagger. It has brows and eyes. The 2 white beams from its eyes can nail down the spirit of man, immortal or demon. No matter how they change, they cannot escape. Last time, when I killed you, Yuan, I used this very flying dagger. After hearing this, everyone was filled with awe and said, Wu King Jifa truly has heaven's great blessing to have such a treasure helping him." Over on the Shang side, Yin Pobai and Lei Kai had fled all the way from the battlefield back to Chaoge city. They entered to see King Zhou of Shang and said, "Your Majesty, though the 7 monsters of Mei Mountain were able to turn themselves into human form, they were all killed one after another in battles against the Zhou army. During the fights between the 2 sides, they exposed their true shapes, making the court lose face in front of all the lords. The great army of Shang has also been almost completely destroyed. We barely escaped back here. Now all the lords of the world have gathered at Menjian. Their flags are packed together like walls. The soldiers stretch beyond sight, and the whole sky looks like it's collapsing. Your Majesty must prepare immediately. We cannot let the lords reach Chaoge city. If they arrive, it will be too late." King Zhou of Shang was terrified. His heart tightened. He rushed to court and asked his ministers, "The Zhou army grows fiercer by the day. What can we do?" But all the officials lowered their heads. No one said a word. After a while, Fei Lian stepped out and said, "Your Majesty should immediately order the 4 gates of Zhaozi to hang up recruitment notices again. Anyone who can break the Zhou army, slay their generals, or capture their banners will be raised straight to the highest ranks. And one more thing, Lu Renji is skilled in both civil and military affairs. Your Majesty should order him to gather the soldiers inside the city and train them again, and prepare all the tools for defending the walls. We must hold the city first. The lords have come from very far away. Their army consumes enormous amounts of food and supplies every day. If time drags on and they run out of grain, they will withdraw by themselves. Then we can strike while they are in chaos. Even though they have more soldiers, they are not necessarily stronger than us. King Zhou of Shang was delighted. What you say makes sense. He ordered new recruitment notices to be posted at all 4 gates and commanded Lu Renji to train the soldiers and prepare all the tools needed for defending the walls. Meanwhile, in the Zhou camp, Zhang Ziya discussed matters in the Menjian camp with the second root of lords. The 9th day of the 3rd month is almost here, but the East Earl still hasn't arrived. What should we do? Just as they were talking, a soldier came to report. Jinze and Muza are waiting outside the camp gate. Zhang Ziya was delighted and immediately called them in. The 2 brothers entered, saluted, and reported. We followed the marshal's orders and went to Yuan Pass pretending to be traveling Taoists. The general, guarding the pass, never suspected us. Working together with the East Earl Jiang Wenhuan from the inside, we killed the commander Dourong, his wife Chadini Yangzi, and the deputy general Yao Zheng. We have taken the pass. We came ahead to bring the news. The East Earl's army will arrive very soon. Zhang Ziya said happily. This is heaven's will. Before the 9th day of the 3rd month, it was impossible for all the lords of the world to gather. Before long, the East Earl Jiang Wenhuan's army arrived at Minga. He brought 200 district lords to the central camp to greet Zhang Ziya. Zhang Ziya went down from his seat to welcome him, spoke courteously with him, and together they went to the rear camp to visit Wu King Jifa. By this time, 800 major lords had arrived, and countless smaller lords had also gathered. Together, they had 1,600,000 soldiers. Jiang Ziya held a ritual for the treasure banner at Menjin. With one cannon blast, the 800 lords and all their troops marched together towards Chaoge. Within a few days, they reached Chaoge city and set up a massive encampment outside the walls. Inside Chaoge city, the city guards reported at the Meridian Gate. The court usher went in and announced, Your Majesty, the lords of the world have surrounded Chaoge. Their numbers total 1,600,000. Please make your decision quickly. King Zhou of Shang turned pale with fear. He rushed up to the city wall to look. He saw people everywhere, pressing forward like the sea. Chaoge looked like a small island surrounded by a massive tide. King Zhou trembled all over, rushed down from the wall, and hurried back into the palace hall. Lords, surround the city. What can we do? Lu Renji stepped forward and said, Your Majesty, I have heard this saying, if a great house is collapsing, a single person cannot support it. Our grain stores are empty. Both soldiers and people are uneasy. Even if we fight with all our strength, we may not win. Why not send someone with great eloquence to persuade the lords, to speak of morality and righteousness, and convince them not to besiege the city? If he succeeds, they may withdraw. Sometimes, one skilled speaker is more useful than 1,000,000 soldiers. King Zhou furrowed his brow and didn't answer. Fei Lian stepped forward again. Your Majesty, I've heard another saying. If the reward is high enough, someone will always step forward. Within 100 li around Chaoge, there will surely be someone willing to give their life for great reward. Besides, we still have over 100,000 soldiers inside the city, and enough grain for now. If things become truly desperate, Lu Renji has already prepared the tools for defending the walls. We can fight back Toothwall and hold a great battle. The outcome is not yet decided. How can we surrender now? King Zhou nodded. What you say makes sense. So he ordered the imperial decree to be posted and mobilized all troops in the city to prepare for a life-or-death battle against the lords. 30 li outside Zhaojiye, there lived a recluse named Ding Si. That day, as he sat at home, he heard that the Zhou army had reached Zhouji and surrounded the city. Ding Si sighed. The nation of Shang used to be so prosperous. Back when Yi Yin served as prime minister and drove out Jiaji, the Shang dynasty has lasted over 600 years, producing 6 or 7 wise kings. Now, in the generation of King Zhou, it is about to be destroyed, living to see a kingdom rise and then fall. My heart feels truly heavy. As he was sighing, his sworn brother Guo Chen pushed open the door and walked in. Ding Si stood and asked, "Brother, it's been a long time. What brings you today?" Guo Chen said, "I came to discuss an important matter. Now the lords have surrounded Chaoge, and the Heavenly Sun has posted the recruitment notice. I came to ask brother to join me and support the court. Brother has studied military strategy since childhood, skilled in both civil and martial matters. You should not hide in the mountains forever and bury your talents." Ding Si smiled and shook his head. "What you say is true, but I see the royal house now like a gravely wounded man. His wounds are wide open, and his life is nearly gone. Trying to save Shang now, it is far too late." Guo Chen became anxious. "Brother, that's wrong. We are subjects of King Zhou of Shang. The nation is at life and death. This is the moment for us to serve our country. We are men with hot blood. If we don't help now, then when?" Ding Si said, "Brother, our lives do not belong to any one man, nor to the state. They belong to heaven and earth. The matter is too big to decide quickly. Let us discuss it slowly." Just then, they heard horses outside. A big man rushed in. It was their sworn brother Dong Zhong. Ding Si laughed. "Let me guess, brother is also here to persuade me to go out and help the state." Dong Zhong shook his head. "No, I'm not here to persuade you. Yesterday in Chaoge, I saw the recruitment notice. I wrote all 3 of our names on it and threw it into Fei Lian's office. Fei Lian has already reported us to the king. We were ordered to enter the palace tomorrow morning. I came today just to tell you. And since our second brother is also here, I don't need to make another trip." Ding Si shouted, "Brother, how could you write my name without asking me? This is a huge matter. How can you treat it so lightly?" Guo Chen burst out laughing. "Our brother did the right thing. I was still persuading you, but now that he already submitted the names, isn't that perfect? Ha ha." Ding Si had no choice but to bring out wine to entertain his 2 brothers. They drank together until midnight. The next day, the 3 went to Chaoge and waited at the Meridian Gate. The gate officer announced their arrival, and King Zhou of Shang summoned them. "Yesterday, Fei Lian recommended you 3 talented men. What way do you have to drive back the Zhou army? If you can defeat the lords, I will make you lords yourselves. I will never go back on my word." Ding Si stepped forward and answered, "I have heard that war is extremely dangerous. A wise king uses war only when there is no other choice. Now that the Zhou army surrounds the city, the nation is at its most perilous moment. We 3 have studied military strategy since childhood and understand both offense and defense. To give peace to the people, we are willing to use our skills, not for fame or wealth." King Zhou was delighted. "You 3 recluses truly have upright hearts. You are not like ordinary people." He immediately appointed Ding Si as General of Divine Strategy, and appointed Guo Chen and Dong Zhong as Generals of Mighty Valor. The 3 put on golden belts and purple robes in the palace. King Zhou then held a banquet to honor them, and they left after giving thanks. Having received titles and a banquet, the 3 returned. All 3 were stirred and uneasy in their hearts. They had agreed to help the kingdom, but the situation before them was already chaos. The lords were at the gates. Chaoge was hanging by a thread, and King Zhou of Shang still drank and feasted without concern. Ding Si thought to himself, "Can the 3 of us really turn the situation around?" Guo Chen held his cup silently. He began to doubt himself. Did we join the court out of loyalty, or did we just sign our own death warrants? Even the bold Dong Zhong could not stop worrying. Where will the Zhou army strike first? And what will we 3 need to do when the fighting begins? They did not speak their worries aloud, but the coming storm weighed heavily on all 3 of their hearts. The Great War was about to begin. Inside Chaoge City, would the chaos start with the enemy, or with King Zhou of Shang himself? We will continue in the next episode. This is Bunny. In my own way, I'll follow China's historical timeline to tell you mythic stories and unpack the history and culture behind them. Thanks for listening. Please follow the show, and I'll see you next time. Oh, by the way, quick heads up. My other show, Monkey King's Son, Wukong, Journey to the West, is now live. If you love Journey to the West, if you're a true fan of Sun Wukong, you don't want to miss this. I'll walk you through a fresh reading of the story, clear, simple, and fun. We'll unpack the characters and plot, and I'll point out the hidden meanings and the rich Chinese cultural power inside this classic. Just search Monkey King's Sun Wukong, Journey to the West. Look for the show with the same icon as this one. Follow along with Bonnie, and let's rediscover Journey to the West together.